How could this possibly go wrong? So far, so good. Train's brought me to Ivano Frankivsk today from Lviv. It's a welcome from the walkie-talkie traveller channel. And what do you think of the train station? It's big. Can't hope to get anywhere near all of it in the picture. And then my head takes up most of the image anyway, doesn't it? Anywho, what are we going to do next? We're going to go down this way because according to my sketch map, based on Google Maps, I need to find a street to my left here called Grunwaldska. Presumably Grunwaldska, named after the Battle of Grunwald. Hints of Poland here. Oh, the history comes flooding back. Steeped. That's what Western Ukraine is, steeped in history. Well, the whole of Ukraine is, to be honest. Here we are in the western part, and I've travelled roughly south on a train for 2.5 hours, and I should be about, well, less than 20 minutes away from the hostel where I'm staying at next, according to what I see on the internet. I sketched out a little map, then I looked at the actual path was when I dropped a little yellow man onto Google Maps, you know, just to get a sense of what to look out for, landmarks, any tricky points which I might misconstrue. And yeah, I decided to take a slightly different route to the one that Google Maps suggested. Now, is this Grunwaldska? It's as good as, well, shouldn't take that attitude, should I, and say, well, it's as good as, because it might not be. But it looks like Grunwaldska, yeah. I think that will do nicely. Going down Grunwaldska, at the roundabout, go over the roundabout, and then on the right look for Valova. I don't know about you, but I kind of miss travelling with a Lonely Planet. And I never had a Lonely Planet or any other guidebook for Ukraine when I visited before. I think I mentioned yesterday when I was looking for that bookshop where I could buy some maps of cities and settlements in Ukraine. That's what I relied on, and it worked out nicely. Having said that, Lonely Planet was a bit of a gem back in the day. I didn't like the Lonely Planet as it sort of morphed into something a little less budget backpacker and more flash packer, perhaps. Certainly in terms of the cost of the accommodation, which was getting recommended. However, don't want to criticise Lonely Planet because I think they're terrific. No, this video is not sponsored by Lonely Planet nor anyone else. There's a real stillness as though it's going to suddenly absolutely tip down with rain. I've got that sort of not doom-laden feeling, but I've just got a little bit of a sense that I need to get to that hostel sooner rather than later, because otherwise it's going to chuck it down. It's very quiet and calm here, which is good on the one hand, but it's a little bit eerie, actually. It's a Saturday, so that might make the difference, of course. And what do we have here? This has got to be a notable building. There's a statue with a sword. You don't see that very often. Oh, I just felt the first drops of rain on my hand. Got to capture this, haven't I? Don't know what it is, but it looks like a bunch of famous guys. Libitsky and Petrushevich. Names ring a bell with you? And Baczynski. The Ukrainians are no doubt shaking their heads at me at this point. Vitovsky. And they probably know all these names, learned them at school, and are thinking, these are 4 extremely famous people from 100 years ago. How do you not know their names? But shows my ignorance, doesn't it? I guess that manhole cover in the middle of the road is the roundabout. And I'm thinking I need to go down Gruszewskogo next. Gruszewskogo. Yep, that's the one. And I can see already that the Viv is not going to win hands down in the handsome architecture category, because Ivano Frankivsk is ready to put forward its candidates. And just look at this for a door. Super. Right. Isn't this some lovely artwork? I'm not sure if it will turn out to be an advertisement for Jägermeister or something similar, or not. But I like it. What do you reckon? Oh, there's something here, Pichuk or Ritsnuk. Don't know what it means, but unexpected, attractive piece. Now, when I was looking on Google Maps through here, 2009 was the latest image, and I'm guessing things have really been developed since. What do you think? I wasn't expecting to see this here. A figure of Jesus. What's he doing? Just on his own. I know there's a big park here with lots of lush trees, no doubt popular with people, but don't know why he's just here on his own. What a lovely start to my stay in Ivano Frankivsk. Lovely. And this was the little tricky bit I couldn't sort out. I couldn't put the little yellow bald-headed man clearly on the path. So I thought to myself, this looks as though there's a lot of potential for getting caught up going the wrong way here. As you can see, it's a bit of a zigzag path. So I decided instead to just walk straight up to the end of Valova and then turn left to avoid the potential confusion over the zigzag path. I'll walk it, no doubt, during my stay here, and then laugh at myself for being so foolish when I discover it's not at all ambiguous. It's very straightforward. This is a rather horrendous, tortured scene, isn't it? I've come out of Valova onto this street here, Dnistrovska, the big church in the background about to be built, set back from that parkland on Valova. And there's a real huddle of little shops here, which isn't surprising because this is quite a sort of market territory, I think. On the right-hand side, we're going to see a very large bazaar building. Not bizarre, but bazaar. The central market. Or at least we would have done in 2009. What's gone on since? Oh, there's the central Rynek, and the big building is quite obscured, isn't it? Yeah, we'll be back at the central market, no doubt. A wee while later, or in another video. This monstrosity is very much since 2009, I think. I need to look out for a street called Halitivska. And although it said Central Market back there, as you can see, the whole of the street here is a market. I wonder if it's just like this on Saturday. I doubt it somehow. Phew. It's steamy. And how I'm supposed to find a turn off to the right here, I'm not sure at all. Where is Halitska? Is that Halitska? That could be Halitska right there, couldn't it? Let's see if there's a sign on the building. And of course there isn't. So maybe it's not Halitska. Go down a little bit further. And look for, oh good, we haven't come to Halitska yet because Silpo's still here from at least 2009, so that's good news. And very useful if you're trying to find your way to the hostel. So thank you, Google. You have helped me out today. I'm seeing a traffic sign up there actually, which is indicating this is Halitska. We're right in the marketplace. Feels like we're in somewhere like Hong Kong. Okay, a bit of an exaggeration. And turn right at the military stores shop. And somewhere here on the left, number 47. I've got the number, but do the buildings have the numbers? That could be the question. 4713 is up there. I'm looking for 4720. So I'm going to walk around the back of the building because I've got something here. It says second entrance and fourth floor. As there isn't a way of walking through that building without walking through a shop, I can't believe that would be appropriate. I'm thinking maybe somewhere here. 4720 Hostel, fourth floor though. It doesn't have 4 floors, so it can't be that building. Nice old balustrade. Those metal spindles. Don't know if you can still call them spindles. The reason I've just stopped here is to explain. The reason I didn't type in 20 for the apartment number was simply because I thought it would be a 4-digit code to get into the building, if you see what I mean. That was my thinking. I should have known better, shouldn't I? Anyway, there's no elevator, 4th floor, which might mean 5 floors up. Let's keep going and find out what awaits us. And you can't go past it by accident. It's on the very top floor, which is handy, isn't it? Number 20, Hostel sticker. Oh, I'm just, yeah. Dziękuję.
Yes.
Well, you join me after I've kind of checked in, I guess, sort of, but not really. Not the most impressive start to my stay in a hostel, but then this isn't really a hostel as such. Turns out it's an apartment and there's nobody working there. So I've just been lucky in finding a couple of Ukrainian guys who are guests who've chatted with me and talked me through and helped me with communicating with a lady who's living remotely somewhere and managing the place. Turns out they didn't actually send me a message about, well, everything I need to know, frankly. I got a message, or I should say a message was sent 3 minutes after I got on the train in Lviv, which read, "Do you speak Ukrainian?" That was it. Nothing about, in any language, to communicate to me where the entrance of the building actually is in proper detail, nor the numbers I need to punch into the black panel, nor which room I'm staying in, nor how I get into the apartment, nor which bed I'm staying in. The woman seems to be under the impression that she has somehow communicated to me that I'm staying in one room for one night, then I shall be moving rooms to another room tomorrow. But she hasn't sent me that communication, or it's been lost in the ether. Yeah. Apparently, I booked a mixed dorm, but the other guests were 3 girls, and they either requested her or she decided it's better to not mix sexes in the mixed dorm. Yeah, you go figure the logic in that. Maybe the girls were uncomfortable and decided they'd rather have it converted into a female dorm for the length of their occupancy, and the owner agreed. Either way, first thing I heard of it was from the lips of a guy who was talking to the hostel owner or manager on his phone. Very bizarre, very poorly run, to be frank. This underlines the problem with doing this remote or lazy hosteling. If you want to have a hostel, I'm afraid you've got to have boots on the ground. Otherwise it doesn't work when there are things that need sorting out. I looked at a message which came from the hostel through booking.com, and it said they will charge me for the first night, but at the property I will pay for the 3 remaining nights. The owner is now saying, no, they never do that. And anyway, I didn't supply my bank details, which may be the case. Perhaps they weren't required with booking.com. But it's kind of confusing when you get this message suggesting that you've already paid for the first night when actually you haven't. And if you want to pay for the rest, you can do it if you've got American Express, Visa card, some other means, similar means. But I got sent a message from the lady saying that basically here's a long bank number, presumably, and presumably her name, or may not be. And again, I needed a Ukrainian guy to flesh out these bare details that she sent me, because what he did when he paid was he transferred the money owing to this bank account, this Ukrainian bank account. Well, I don't have the means to do that, I'm afraid. So what's the alternative? Turns out the alternative is the lady's coming between 12 and 1 tomorrow. So right in the middle of the day when you're liable to be out sightseeing or doing whatever you're doing, yeah, you've got to be here between 12 and 1 midday in order to pay her in cash. So they've got no reception where you can just use your bank card to make payment, and you've got to fiddle around with your first full day by it not being a first full day, because you've got to either sleep in and meet her at lunchtime, or only go away for a short time and remember to come back between 12 and 1 and make sure you catch her to pay in cash. Otherwise your booking will be cancelled. Yeah. Who said backpacking was easy? Anyway, got a bit of a headache as a result of all that, but actually I think it's the air pressure. It really does feel as though the air pressure's heavy today, and a lot of people will be having headaches, not just with their hostel bookings. So now what I'm going to do is go and see if I can find a place to change some money, because today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Better do it sooner rather than later, just in case things change and the exchange offices are closed on a Sunday. It's a small city, or maybe it's a biggish city. Either way, Sundays might be a everything closed day for them. You never know. So there we are. That's an update on where I am, and my head's spinning with the confusion from it all. Anywho, I think I need to make a mental check. A note. Do your damnedest not to book a place calling itself a hostel which doesn't have a reception and tries to do everything remotely, because it's potentially, well, a balls up waiting to happen. And as I've said before, I think in other videos, when you've just got those odd questions you want to ask the receptionist in a hostel, and there is no receptionist in the hostel, then you're left thinking, right, okay. Whether they've got a laundry service, you'll never know. For example, now then, let's see if I remember how I got here. Luckily, can't really forget where the market is, because it's like a huge spreading octopus. But I want to go to Silpo, I think, because from memory, Silpo used to have a reasonable sort of currency exchange place, and also it was indoors, at least the one in Kiev that I recall. That way I will be, sorry about that, man making strange noises behind me. Yeah, that way it will give me a little bit more of a sense of security and feeling that it's a legit place. You know, if you go in the market and change the money, people bustling around, could be somebody who just shortchanges me, potentially. Non-trusting walkie-talkie traveller talking now. Ukraine has always been full of surprises, and that currency exchange experience, well, it was very favourable indeed. Basically got nearly 37 hryvnia for the dollar, so I took it. Good old Silpo. Currency exchange downstairs at Silpo, just off to the left as you go down, and before you enter through the actual sort of turnstiles, shall we call them. Got some goodies, got a couple of thank you bars of chocolate to give to the guy and the lady who helped me when I needed to communicate with the remote owner or hostel manager, whoever she is. Now I've got cash as well to burn. No, not really. I've got a bit of cash to hand over for payment of my 4 nights in the hostel. And what I was really going to go out and do was walk back to the train station, see if, well, I was going to translate as best I can using Google what I need to ask at the train station for whether or not there is a daytime train to Chernivtsi. and sort of muddle through from there, because I won't have Google Translate with me. I'll just have that simple question on a piece of paper to ask them, and from that we'll just have to see what happens next. If the lady says something that I can understand, which numbers wise suggests no, it's just the evening train, which is what I suspect, then I'll be a bit stymied. If on the other hand she says yes, there are some tickets available, I'll then be asking about whether it's Platzkarte, the third class cheapest ticket, or if it's coupe, the next class up, or if I have to pay Lux or Deluxe. But frankly, to be honest with you, when I saw some Lux and Deluxe superior sleeper prices quoted online, they were really very reasonable indeed. We'll just have to see. Anyway, I think I've earned a well-deserved rest. I'll leave that for tomorrow, I think. That makes more sense. Telltale sign. There we go. The hostel is in here. We've got a keypad. Haven't been sent any information. What do we know? Well, it's apartment 20, but usually I would expect a 4-code. Woohoo! What's all this about? Hello? Voila! Just like magic.